आबाद रहे वो गाँव मेरा जहाँ लौट के वापस जा न सका। ओ वतना बे मेरे वतना बे तेरा मेरा प्यार निराला था, कुर्बान हुआ तेरी अस्मत पे मैं कितना नसीबों वाला था। तेरी मिट्टी में मिल जावा गुल बन के मैं खिल जावा, तेरी नदियों में बह जावा तेरे खेतों में लहरावा, इतनी सी है दिल की आरज़ू।
So I'd like to request Shumon to read the questions. Those are there in the chat box.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay. Just 1 minute. First, I want to extend my sincere thanks to all the panelists as well as the moderator for their outstanding preparations. Now it's time for question and answer session. At present, the chat box is flooded with the praises and thank you message. So it is indeed a thought-provoking session as well as a learning lesson to all of us. So only one question is there. Probably to Professor Dipankar. The question comes from Pronoy Aditya. Will you kindly share your views on the indemnification of farmers by the government on the risks under the farm laws in India? One question to Dipankar, sir. There are other questions are coming.
I think I tried to explain the implications of, and all other panelists also have tried, of the farm laws. If these are implemented, as I said, obviously there will be not only the farmers, the consumers at large, the Indian population, and mostly the poorer section of the Indian population will suffer and will face severe food security issues, and most probably will be subjected to consume junk foods, GM foods, and all kind of foods imported from so-called advanced countries, which are subsidized. They have a huge production glut, and from India, we'll be exporting our best quality food. Best quality fruits, probably the best quality rice, the best quality other processed foods. So I feel that the entire consumption process will be changed. And just I'm trying to add one thing which Professor Bagchi has raised, though I'm not an anthropologist by training. Some of the cultural issues, when he talked about the cultural issues, I just mentioned, if you have observed that in the last 10 to 15 years, Government of India has taken initiative to provide GI tag to hundreds of different products across the country. In a way, GI is very important to protect the local knowledge. But GI can also be appropriated by this foreign or these transnational corporations who can appropriate these GIs and promote these products as their own product, though the GI tags will be there. So there could be a possibility that these cultural aspects of India, which has got a huge variety, and if you just check the GI list, In the last 15 years, GI probably has been given to products of which 70 to 80% are food products. So my apprehensions are still there. India will be exporting our own exotic food products, our own the GI products, the best quality products, products produced with huge quantities of water, which we have still in abundance, at least in the eastern part of India. And we'll be importing all junk foods, GM foods. So in a way, this is what I personally feel that we are going to face. I don't know whether I've been able to address the question which has been raised, but this is my humble answer.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. One humble request to the participants, please mention the name of speaker you would like to interact. I'm coming to the next question, comes from Shaktoki Pal. There are several horizontal accountability measures, such as formation of committees, that are invoked by the state. Nonetheless, there is a lack of vertical accountability, such as citizen insight, by the central government in the ways certain legislations are introduced. Is there any panacea for this particular issue? Shaktoki, can you mention the name?
Maybe any of the panelists can answer. I mean, if he can't really say that, I mean, it's a general question maybe raised.
So the question is open to all, actually.
Yeah. Would Sujato Babu care to react on this? Is Sujato Babu here? No, I think he has left. Possibly a network issue. Can Dr. De, Professor De, care to react on this?
I may try, but I'm not a researcher on this particular topic. But if I remain focused on the farm laws and the farm acts, that the agricultural sector, I have also mentioned in my presentation that in India, we have just followed ad hoc policies. If you see bearing the policies in 1960s when the Green Revolution was stimulated by, as I mentioned, by Rockefeller Foundation and with the involvement of some policymakers of India and some scientists and in the government. But apart from this, our entire policy was based on ad hocism. So when we have this kind of ad hocism, it is not expected that in such a situation that what the question setter has raised, a very particular question though, the horizontal and vertical synthesis that he tried to mention. I don't think that no one has raised this issue, no one has addressed this issue, and no one has thought about it. So we don't have any direction, unfortunately. I don't blame this government only for this. Now, if you see the history of the Indian agricultural sector, which I've tried to just highlight, it is pathetic, simply to say pathetic. You see in terms of investment, see in terms of productivity, where we stand. In terms of productivity, we are 45th in the production of wheat. And we boast of a green revolution. In terms of productivity, we are 59th in terms of rice production. So where we stand, if we just open up this market, we simply will be flooded with imported products. Our farmers won't be able to compete with any of these countries, even with our neighbors like Thailand and all. Vietnam's productivity is much, much higher than our productivity in rice. We can't compete with them. Forget about the subsidized wheats from USA or Canada or Australia. Even we won't be able to compete with Thailand and Vietnam. So we never thought of our agriculture. It was absolutely advocism. It was absolutely political motives. And still now, 50% of our workforce, directly or indirectly, are engaged in agricultural activities. The entire COVID, we could sustain. We could at least get some food without any food riot till now, thanks to our agriculturists. They could produce it. They could produce sufficient amount of food, but not efficiently, because we never bothered to think about agricultural sector. As I mentioned in the very first paragraph of my lecture, the terms of trade have deteriorated in the last 70 odd years. Constantly it has deteriorated. Investment has declined. Now we are talking about all these issues. The farmers are practically on the street now. They cannot survive without the support of the government. You cannot say now the farmers, in Bengal there is a saying, "Gache tule boi kere nawa." The situation of farmers are like this. You have made them dependent on private players for the seeds, for the pesticides, for water, for fertilizer. And you don't have any control on the price of these inputs. Professor Bhadra was talking about the Swaminathan Committee. No, they have not. Government of India has not implemented any recommendation on the Swaminathan Committee. They're saying all lies. This is the condition of India. Unfortunate situation. Only $56 billion are spent as subsidies to 23 products on which subsidies are provided. As I said, more than 99% of the farmers are poor and poor farmers, and they get only 43% of the subsidies. Who gets 57% of the rest of the subsidies which are given? So these are the questions which needs to be raised. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Now I am taking one question from our live streaming channel YouTube. The question is posted by Shamrat Roy. This is a general question to all panelists. How do you observe that one can?
I think Sujato Bhadra sir has come, so can unmute. Can anybody just instruct him to unmute?
I mean, can you react on this?
Manik Babu is there. Thank you, sir.
Question is now actually very interesting. The question is now the farmers are demanding to repeal the laws. Now, this is a big challenge to the Supreme Court also, whether they can now, under the principle of judicial review, declare all the laws as redundant. So in this context, now Supreme Court is trying to mediate between the farmers and the government by setting up a committee, so that the process can be delayed and so some amicable solution, maybe may come out. So I believe that this is just also a kind of delaying tactics, so far the movement is concerned. Thank you.
Just to add what sir has said, just now I have received, and which I mentioned, in a press release, the farmers committee, that means who are agitating over there, they have rejected the Supreme Court suggestions of the 4-member committee. Farm Act, they have in past in the writings and in the meetings, it is absolutely. So they have rejected to negotiate with them, and they have said that the proposed march on 26 January will be held, and they will move to Delhi center. Delhi city inside the Delhi city on 26. This is the latest press release which I have just received. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. One addition from Shattoki Pal. There is a renowned Bengali proverb, Babuder buddhi dekho, মগজে চাষের জমি ধ্বংস করে ফসল ফলায় কাগজে. I think there is no more questions left in the chat box.
Shumon, may I just interrupt you? Sorry. I think Professor Bhadra is trying to say something and I think he is mute. So anybody kindly instruct Professor Bhadra to unmute, or is it possible to unmute from
most of the members? Are you listening to me?
Yes.
Yeah, now. Yeah.
Most of them are 4 members. They have said, have announced their position, declared their position much before in favor of the farm laws. So going to them, convincing them, and to change their opinion is a remote possibility. So they are going to reject, and they said, day before yesterday, they have said it's a political issue. It's a political decision of the government to back the corporate, to bring the corporate from outside. And this farm law has a global angle. So therefore, they are rejecting the proposal. They got temporary suspension of the law. It's okay. It's okay. Supreme Court is Supreme Court is right to resolve the issue from judicial perspective. But you have to see the movement beyond judicial intervention. These farmers never made any petition to the Supreme Court. They did not go to the Supreme Court. Others go to the Supreme Court. Single petitioner gone to the law student gone to the Supreme Court, seeing the condition, horrible condition under distress they are living now for 49 days. 57 farmers were already died. So that's a different issue. They're saying repeal the law. And they're strict to that. And second, as I said, MSP should be legally guaranteed. No assurance from the government. It has no legal value. No anthropological value, what Dr. Bagchi has talking about. So they stick on that. We have to accept that. They did not cast any effort to the Supreme Court. They say Honorable Supreme Court, more respected Supreme Court. Prior to that, prior to declaration of the committee, they said no point of going to the committee because it's a discussion between the government and the farmers, protesting farmers, relating to a right to life. What Supreme Court can do but go and discuss. They have been discussed 8 rounds, no result, because government still not the law. Stick to the point, a different reasons are there. I'm not going on that. The point is stakeholders are refusing, has been refusing, still refusing to go to any committee. And actually this committee is completely pro-farm lawsuit.
Sir, Professor Chakrabarty say something.
Yeah, I want to actually thank you, Professor Bhadra. He told the right point. Farmers never went to the Supreme Court. This is a big point. All petitions, all the advocates who are advocating the farmers' cause, like including Advocate Dushman Dave, they were all absent before in the Supreme Court during the hearing. That indicates that the farmers are not at all in a mode to track the issue to the Supreme Court for decision, because they are not they're having no faith, even maybe, if with due respect to the Supreme Court, I must say, on the all these committees and all these things. This is simply a delaying tactics. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Sir, I have a question to Professor Bhadra and other panelists as well. as an anthropologist, I must ask you, sir, all of you, sir, that I do understand that there is a loopholes and there is some kind of draconian law. I do agree. At the same time, sir, there is a different pole that if we try to restore our federal structure, or we really wanted to restore our federal structure and state law, then, sir, why the state like West Bengal, Odisha, Jharkhand, Bihar, here the farmers are not rich. The farmers are still under below corporates, if you stop the competitive world to invade our own economy, to assure our farmers' livelihood, but at the same time, how we can assure a good livelihood without having economic flow to the farmer's family. So why our state, like West Bengal, our farmer is still poor? So anybody answer, please. Thank you, sir. Anybody, sir? Sir, please.
mainly related to structure of the law. As practiced in West Bengal, we have to wait because the present government in paradox now, because they are going to support this farmers movement on 27 January, going to pass a resolution. But in the state, they have one kind of farming and a different type of a farming, but they are in paradox. But nevertheless, as I have said, forest farmers in Bengal and the rich farmer in Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, some areas are different in nation, in Madhya Pradesh also. So their stake are different. But they are extending their solidarity to the movement. We have to watch what they are going to take on 27th January. Why we requested the government
Simple.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please go ahead. Please.
If you see the livelihood of farmers in advanced, so-called advanced states of India like Maharashtra, Gujarat, and Punjab and Haryana, and livelihood of farmers in Bengal, Bihar, and Orissa, where they are relatively poor. One thing is strikingly the Gujarat, the sugarcane farmers and all, the rate of suicide in these areas are much higher. I think the students of anthropology or faculty members of anthropology can study on these aspects, whether the corporatization of farming community or farming sector leads to more suicide or something like this. Second point I'd like to flag is that the fragmentation of land holding in Bengal and Odisha and parts of Bihar are different, and we have much smaller land holdings, mainly in Bengal, because of the huge population on farmland, and the population density, you can consider that is one of the highest after Kerala. So these are some of the issues which I think needs to be flagged while we try to compare the condition of the farmers in two different regions of India. So these are something which needs to be understood, and you cannot practically compare apples with oranges. These two areas are completely different, with different historical background, with different political, cultural, and obviously anthropological issues are there. So I do request all of you, those who are from anthropology, please add some dimension to this. Economics and politics cannot answer all these tricky questions which are being raised now. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Shumon.
So my reply, I missed one point, Professor Maji, that you are asking for whether competition will enrich or enhance economic condition of the farmer. I do dispute that, because I have said, I refer to strong recommend you read Usha Patak, a recent article in Hindu.
Correct.
In January, that this corporate competition is also a myth, because some companies will monopolize, they will fix the price, they will lower the price. And as I have referred to, local farmers to contact farming became enslaved and slowly going to be impeded. So in order to stop impediment, we have to block corporatization of agriculture, particularly in our third world type country, where mainly dependent, 1 million people dependent as a small marginal, less than 1 hectare, between 1 hectare and hectare. And here, if corporate comes and dictate the terms, and suppose they import a lesser price gains, whatever food gains. Now that there is a movement in advanced country for green energy, and in green energy means the more ethanol, means more price, means more costly. Even the poorer consumer will not be able to buy that. So entire structure of the society, fabric of the society will be going to be destroyed by the corporate. So entire our democracy, in order to survive, overcome agrarian crisis, require more land reform, more other measures come up, not through corporatization. It's a wrong process, absolutely wrong process to an already a crisis-ridden, debt-ridden economy.
Exactly, sir. As an anthropologist, as we are anthropologists, we also agree with it. Absolutely, you're correct. All of you are correct in your own dimensions. As we also always favor local to global growth, we study micro level, then we try to understand the micro level differences at the macro level. And we do believe and we do agree that each and every micro level ecological diversity, from animal world to any other plankton or other species, must be restored properly for the better biodiversity world. And we also agree that there must be a multiverse world, not universe world. But at the same time, sir, we are also trying to understand, when we are always trying to create a kind of binary that corporates as a draconian part, without having any role of other issues. Means I'm telling you, sir, what are the role of state government over here? That's my question, and that's one of the part of my question. How the state government had been protecting our small scale farmer, economically much more backward farmers. I should not say backward, but economically not so rich farmers. So can you please give me some kind of light over here, how state government can hold its own power, to exert its own power to protect the farmers' right and go for a better livelihood?
Another point, Professor Maji, I'm trying to refer to, I had forgotten somehow, a middleman issue has been raised by the government.
Exactly.
When being run by the middleman. So once you open the market to the corporate, it's a deregulation of the market and the freedom given to the farmer to, as you said, to bargain with the corporate house. and to get maximum profit out of that sale of farming produce. And this is again absolutely wrong. I have seen, the argument of Arun Jetli. I listened to argument of Swaraj, who were in opposition that 2012, when Congress attempted to move this one, a different matter, but move this one. They raised the same point. The again middleman will come, not in a local middleman, but Walmart and other organization will come and become the middleman. And again the farmer, as government saying, suffering. They're again going to suffer. Middleman will come, or they have the bargaining power with the corporates. That's the whole issue, that a fixed price will be fixed by the corporate in a lower price. And the farmer will be forced to sell at the gate, and they have no other alternative. But
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
We received one more questions on our live streaming platform. The question is posted by Shamrat Roy again. Do you think that this disaffection of farmers in approaching the apex court on public matter marks the watershed moment in the PIL activism regime on the judicial pronouncement in India?
yeah, and another Majis raising the issue, state government protecting our low-income group. Yeah, in some manner, that's a very populist government, so they have some populism, and populism has dangers also. But populism to creating mandis or to giving some cash handout, as I've said, cash handout is no solution. But to put some money in the bank account, either Kishak Samman Nidhi or local any Kishak Shri or whatever it is, they have taken populist measure, but the entire protection of the farmers by the government is still far away. And I don't think in a liberalized world, entire government protection is at all available, will be made available to the farmers. Because the entire liberalization means deregulation. And that is a strong viewpoint of the government or parties in power.
Thank you, sir. Diganto Bishwas posted two questions. First question is, in the matter of contract farming, the government agencies, if involved, will the issue be solved in corporatized agriculture? This is the first question. And the second question is, if all Indian Agricultural Service is introduced, can the problem be solved, particularly in respect to price fixation and contract farming? All the questions are open to all, sir.
Who is going to reply? Professor Dey should reply.
I think on contract farming, my views are very clear. I do believe that contract farming is like, the experience till now is not good. So contract farming is like, a surrogate mother, contracting her womb. So this is not going to help the farmers in any way, in any form that you want. So I am not very clear about it.
Dr. Dey, he is talking about if the government agency is involved.
So
I mean,
again,
what kind of contract farming can be?
Yeah, again, as I said, if the government agencies are involved, now you have to define the type of government. Now the government, if I say the government represents the state, the composition and the effectiveness of the state depends on how the state runs, whether the state is a welfare state or whether the state is a state which is being run by corporates in absentia. So these needs to be very clearly understood. So state as a state just cannot be said that they are all sacrosanct. So there could be a rogue state, that could be a welfare state. So which type of state we are talking to? Now, a welfare state can theoretically use contract farming for the benefit of the larger section of the population. So that is possible. But we have to first identify whether the state is a really welfare state or the state is a wrong state. So there cannot be a single answer to the question, I believe.
Well, second question, actually, I mean, I didn't find any relation. I mean, if All India Agricultural Service is introduced, can the problem be solved, particularly in respect to price fixation and contract farming? I mean,
So this
the ARS
is bureaucratization.
bureaucratic experience. I mean, bureaucratization. I guess it won't be solved. I mean, price fixation and contract farming until and unless state intervenes.
Yeah.
Last question possibly relates to the choice of crop to cultivate and corporate interest in the role of government. There is a, I asked this question, I asked a question taken from this question. There is a narrative from government that the Punjab farmers should be actually uplifted from this paddy wheat cycle. It's very, water guzzling, and it's actually depleting the water level to an alarming level. So that's why we need such a kind of bill, such a kind of law to actually rescue them from this cycle. I would like to put this answer to Professor De.
Yeah, I just
Question to Professor.
very good question and partisan question also. I'll try to answer it. You see, for the last almost 50 odd years, Punjab and that particular sector, they have been following this intensive cultivation for the wheat, and they have been using the underground water, and for this reason, the quality of the land has become almost very bad because of this salinity and other issues due to large scale use of fertilizer, pesticide, and all. So they just now want to a way out to give Punjab farmers something else which they can produce, because the land is not anymore suitable for wheat and other types of cultivation which they have been following for many years. Again, as I said, USA is surplus with wheat. Canada is surplus with wheat. They want to enter Indian market with wheat and corn. So if Punjab produces wheat, so it doesn't serve the purpose. So you have to diversify the Punjabi farmers from wheat cultivation to something else. This could be another reason why these types of narratives are being created. But actually, it is also a fact that the land has become very saline, and Punjab farmers need some other ways to get this out. Here, I would like to focus one more thing, which I mentioned just while I was discussing the story of the sugarcane cultivation. Sugarcane in India mostly cultivated in eastern sector and up to eastern part of UP, Bihar, UP, Bangladesh, and parts of West Bengal. These are the sugarcane cultivation areas. গুড় আমাদের এটা বিখ্যাত জিনিস, তার থেকে বলা হয় গোড় নামটা এসেছিল. So these are something very traditional cultivation. Why? Because sugarcane is water intensive, and these areas they get huge rainfall every year. Now, in the last 40 years, sugarcane cultivation has shifted from eastern India to western India and parts of northern India in around country. Are located in that area. So the entire cultivation process has shifted from a natural water harvesting cultivation to an artificial water harvesting cultivation, which depends purely on underground water into Western India. Marathwada was not at all a sugarcane producing district even 50 years before. Kanpur and these areas in the Western Uttar Pradesh, they never cultivated sugar. You just check. This sugarcane cultivation became intensive cultivation in the last 40, 50 odd years when the sugar factories had come up in those areas and government started giving subsidies to the sugar factories and sugar production. So this entire production process, entire cultivation process became water intensive and it depended on the underground water, resulting into desertification of those areas. So this needs to be understood and this needs to be flagged. Now in Bengal and other areas, you don't find any sugarcane factory. Hardly 1 or 2 sugarcane factories are there in Bengal. But at one point of time, Bengal was one of the major sugarcane producers. Everything is shifted to the West. So probably we'll have to discuss these issues in another session. It's very interesting questions and very interesting issues. I think I would like to thank you and all the organizers again, that these issues are being discussed so seriously after a long gap maybe, thanks to the movement in Delhi by farmers. Otherwise, we never thought of raising these issues. We never thought of raising these issues earlier. We have become so, in a way, intellectually ignorant about the farming community.
Maybe insipid.
Maybe. Sorry for uttering that strong word, but
Sorry.
we have become very indifferent. We have become indifferent over the years on the farming issues. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. There is no more questions left in the question answer session. I personally want to thank you all for such an engaging session. Okay. So, sir, may I request to hand over the screen to Pushpita for extending the vote of thanks.
Sure.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah.
So can I
Okay,
take
sir.
lead?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Yeah.
you, everybody.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.
So I would like to thank to all of our panelists, Professor Manik Chakrabarty, Professor Sujato Bhadra, and Professor Dipankar De for this wonderful and enlightening session, and to our chief mentor and moderator, Professor Subrata Sankar Bagchi, to moderating this session. And then I would like to thank to our mentors, Shubhendu Maji sir, Dr. Shubhamay Kisku sir, Kaustav Das sir, and Shuman Hajra sir to summarizing this session. And I would like to thank to all of our KSC members to organizing this kind of talk on this issue. And last but not the least, I would like to thank all of the participants to participate in this session and staying with us in our YouTube live. So we hope we will meet again in our next endeavor. So thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you.